Definitely, a little bit disappointing that, obviously a lot disappointing that we didn't make the playoffs. We wanted to really make the playoffs for our fans this year. With the support we received and the welcome that we got in our first year, a little bit disappointing, but something to build upon for next year.
But a strong way to close out the season, of course, with 2 wins on the road and 1 here at home. I mean, what does that say about this team and just the never-give-up attitude of the Condors?
Well, yeah, it's tough when you know you're eliminated, but having those guys come back from Edmonton was definitely a big help. Getting LB back, Grift, Darnell coming back, Oisty coming back, obviously added a jolt of adrenaline to our lineup, and the guys performed well.
What's the goal? Obviously, each individual guy is different, but as a collective group, what's the goal of the exit meeting before you head into the summer?
Just to give them an idea of their season, to recap, what they did well, what they need to work upon, their off-ice conditioning, just to have a little bit of finality to the season.
Do you talk a lot of unrestricted free agents on the team, or do you talk to them about whether you like them back?
Yeah, well, we go through the process of getting a feel for what they're thinking and where they'd like to go moving forward in their career, and then, get a hold of their agent, and guys that we'd like back, obviously, we'll reach out to their agents and go from there.
So it said you got a lot of guys in that boat, and you have a lot of other guys that are under contract, so what type of mix would you expect to see next year?
Well, again, it varies from player to player and situation to situation, and guys may get other offers and other opportunities, being a free agent. Some guys will like to test the market, some guys will like to be back, so that'll all play itself out over the course of the summer.
We've talked about it a little bit, but just the inaugural season here in Bakersfield, and just you talked about the reception, but this whole year leading up to it and all the build-up to the season, from that aspect, it couldn't have gone better.
Yeah, obviously could have went a little bit better. Making the playoffs would have been great, But again, we had a lot of positives come out of this year. Obviously disappointing not making the playoffs, but the successes that we did have this year we'll build upon, and the things that we need to get better, we'll work on those.
Do you see some of the positives as being the number of players that were called up and played a lot of games at the next level?
Ultimately, that's our job, Griff. It's to prepare these guys to play in the NHL, and we had pretty much all of our guys at some point, or majority of our guys play in the NHL and contribute and perform well up there. So that speaks volumes to the reception that they receive down here. Like, people don't understand that coming to the games and watching these guys develop is a big part of what we're trying to accomplish here. So in that respect, it was a positive thing. But at the end of the day, you'd always like to make the playoff, and I think that experience of going into the playoffs and learning how to win and playing those games is a huge part of their development.
Part of the equation in this league is you don't often play with a full deck. They're up in Edmonton, they're coming up and down. How frustrating was it knowing how close you were to the playoffs, given the fact you had so much player movement?
Well, I don't think it's a question of frustration. I'm disappointed for the guys because they do put the sacrifice and the hard work and the time and the details that need to go into getting into the playoffs. But again, at the end of the day, their ultimate goal is to play in the NHL and to contribute to that team and to further their careers. They all want to play in the NHL. So at the end of the day, we're here to service the Edmonton Oilers, and obviously they want us to make the playoffs because it is a big part of their development. But to see as the amount of guys that we had move up and progress in their careers was rewarding.
I would imagine, though, with the guys that came back down and you just beat 2 quality teams on the road, you'd like this team going into the playoffs.
Yeah, we talked about it throughout our little push here at the end that if we do get in the playoffs, we can do some damage, get some guys back from Edmonton, get on a roll. But we fell a little bit short this year, but it gives us something to look forward to next year.
Ryan had shared with me that you guys sort of played the if game or the woulda, coulda, shoulda game. How frustrating is it to sometimes have to focus in on, like, a microcosm, maybe the San Diego game, that a point gets away? There's
so many games that you look back upon, and that's something that you emphasize throughout the year, that you can't let points slide away. And there was times and opportunities that we had where we did let points slide away this year, and at the end of the day, it does come back to bite in the butt a little bit. But moving forward, it's a learning experience, and we had a lot of young guys, and I'm sure they'll learn and grow from this experience.